All right, guys. So, I kind of wanted to do this video on how I'm going to get my accelerator cable, pedal cable, and my kickdown cable. Whoops, and my kickdown cable set for it to work in the Hemi. Okay. So on DIY Hemi, they talk about '03 and '04 Dodge Rams 1500s with a Hemi in it. They have a sensor like this, but it's in like a box, different plastic than this, right? And it's underneath the battery tray. So, but it's only for those 2 years, and you can use this to control your throttle position sensor. Okay, this will control your throttle, the accelerate. But in my town, there is no '03, '04 Hemis in any of the junkyards anywhere here. So you can also use Mercedes because they use a lot of Mercedes parts. And so I verified that this was the same number, and the Mercedes I found it I got it out of You Pull It. It was an 2000 ML320. So now the plastic housing is way different than the Ram. The Rams is a lot easier because there's like this little door and you can flap it and it hides it. But this one, it doesn't. It actually had on, had on this piece. I started cutting things off slowly, figuring out what I need, what I don't need, right? It was like this. So I had this piece on, cut that off. This piece was like this. So it's kind of a really big, bulky piece, right? And just a couple little pieces here and there. And this piece was here, I think originally like this. It was on like this. I think originally it had a kickdown, like bracket or something here. But in the junkyard when I got it home, I noticed this was broken off. So I'm assuming this is where the kickdown cable travels over, connects to here. So what I'm trying to do here is, so I cut this off, right? So here, and I'll show you in a second. So let me get this plastic waste out. So, and this square right here, see the square is where the cable from the Mercedes goes into. It goes right there. Mine can probably fit into that. But for the Durango, if you look at the Durango's throttle body and where the cable attaches here, it goes like this, right? So, so this little bracket right here is actually it's actually going to work really well for me, okay? For one thing, is what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to just use this knob. So this is the reason why I cut this little piece off right here. This little piece off. Because it was sticking in the way because I wanted to try to flush it up like this. So what I'm going to do is figure out how to mount this to the plastic housing. See, it'll fit my original. This one's my cruise control, which I can't use with the new computer because it's an older style cruise control. But I can use this part for my accelerator cable. So what I can do is when I cut that off, I started sitting this flush, right? I'm like thinking, well, see, that'll work, right? So if you look, the line sight between this and this will work. This could be my transmission. This could be my transmission kickdown, and then I can use the accelerator side. Then I started thinking, see, this is where the actual sensor bolts, right? Then I started thinking, I was like, I might not even need this whole housing part, because these two bolts, I can figure out how to mount the bolts to this to where it gets level, right? Maybe just build a little bracket or use something on the plastic, right? So for my case, I might not have even had to do all this, right? I might not have even had to buy this thing. But with the sensor and the housing, it was only 10 bucks at you pull it. So you might get lucky at some of them and find some of these Mercedes and stuff. I think if you buy from a junkyard that they take it off and they know what the part is, it'll probably be a little bit, quite a bit more. But if you go to you pull it, you're probably not going to spend that much if you can know what vehicles to look for. So remember, I got this out of a 2000 Mercedes ML320. I've looked in some other 2001s Mercedes, and they had the gas pedal one already put in there. So I'm not sure if it was like 2000, maybe 1999, something like that. So, but there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little bolts off. I'm going to take the bolts off and the sensor off. I'm going to keep this on here for right now. And then I'm going to see how this would, the spacing and stuff on this. So let me try that real quick. I think this is a 10. So since this is this came out of a later year, but I'm going into a 2009, so where they use CAN bus. So I just cut the sensor wires off and I kept the connector because I know the 2009s in the Rams, the Hemis, they use the pedal, right? So well, let me take these off real quick. I know it's not going to bolt right up to that metal bracket, but, you know, I mean, I can position this in like this and see. I just made like a steel bracket from here to here maybe, connected this to, or maybe a little lower. Let's see how that line goes, right? So I might be able to do it. I mean, shoot, if you can see, if I follow these bolt holes on the line with this, the bracket down here, right? Hold on. Right here, it's too low down, right? So I would have to maybe probably raise it up. That's probably about where it needs to be. Like if I can sit it on top of the thing and just get a little metal bracket that I can bolt on to here and either weld it to this face or just screw some holes and bolt it on, and it just be bolted on that way, and I can just use it like this. Interesting. So that is an idea. I'm gonna work a little bit through that. I'm not gonna tear up this case a little too much more because I still might be able to use it. But so the other hurdle, all right, so the other thing too is if you look here, see this is more like a ball, kind of like a winch type of thing, right? These ones have kind of like a little bit more of that flat spot right there, right? So what I might do also is take a piece of this and connect and use this top piece here and maybe use this connector, bottom one and under, right? And so, and then I can stick it on top of here so I can use, so I don't have to use this ball and use this. Or I can figure out a way to get one of these little connectors and just clamp it down to my existing wire, and I can do that. And then for my kickdown, when my kickdown attaches, there's like a little space underneath the ball or around this little groove. I could what I could do is just kind of find some type of connector that I can maybe loop around, or I'm sorry, that I can like loop around or something. But that is my ideas. So I'm going to think about that a little bit more and brainstorm it. And I also got to pay attention to, like, you know, the the cable throw, like the distance of how far it needs to be. Is this going to be the right spot for both of them? But my cables are directly onto the truck right now still. So like these perfect adapters, I don't have to change any of that. It'll attach straight on as long as I can get a good secure here and a good here. And then for me to be able to attach it, I might be able to the body. I might be able to use this and this, maybe depending on where I figure out where I want to go with the truck. Or I can just drill another hole here and here, and I can just get it somewhere into the truck. All right, guys. So I put the accelerator. I clipped the accelerator cable in. Transmission kickdown cable. I put it in here. So I'm gonna put this without the plastic piece in. So this is fully extended with the pedal all the way up. So I kind of need this to go back, about right there, right? Okay, which, see, these cables with this bracket are already at perfect length, right? They're already at the exact length because they attach in the exact same spot on my old throttle body, you know. So whatever distance I measure is going to be correct, as long as I put this ball or this attachment here the exact same length. So I can either do two things. I can attach the transmission one to the top, and since this one slides like this, I can go ahead and try to clip this off and then attach another attachment that'll seal around underneath. Instead of going over the top, I can kind of clip it in, maybe something like that, and then I can try to flatten this ball out maybe, so I can get this in there. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll move this up. So see how that clip is like that? It's got to slide in, because on the original one these are a lot more flat. So gotta go like this. Boom. Try to clip it in. So I think this is what I'm going to use, and I'm not going to use the box. And you know, I mean, originally it's designed to set up like this on the engine, on the 5.9 Magnum, but I'm going to set it up somewhere along here, which, let me grab this, somewhere along maybe here, the firewall. I have a lot of room with this cable, so I could even come all the way over here, because the air cleaner box is going to be gone. I got a gap here that I can probably put it to, you know, all the way through here, or I can stick it underneath here. But because the intake manifold goes here, and I don't necessarily want it to put it somewhere where I can't access it if that sensor goes bad. So more to come.